Natasha. Petrova stood at the edge of the Moscow rooftop, the wind whipping her long brown hair into a frenzy. She gazed out at the sprawling cityscape, her bright green eyes shining with excitement. A history student by day, Natasha had a secret life. She was an urban explorer, always on the lookout for hidden corners and forgotten stories. Tonight she had a mission. Rumors had circulated about an abandoned Stalin-era bunker beneath the city streets, hidden behind a nondescript door in a nondescript building. Natasha had spent weeks tracking down clues, and she finally had the location. She took a deep breath, shouldering her backpack filled with supplies, and descended into the night. The city lights twinkled like stars as she made her way to the building. She found the door, an unassuming entrance between a bakery and a thrift store. Natasha produced a set of lockpicks and got to work. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow stairway that plunged into darkness. Natasha grinned, her heart racing. This was it. Her adventure was about to begin. As Natasha descended the stairs, the air grew thick with the scent of damp earth and decay. She flicked on her flashlight, casting flickering shadows on the walls. The stairway ended in a metal door, adorned with rusted hinges and a large old-fashioned keyhole. Natasha examined the lock, her mind racing with possibilities. She pulled out her lockpicks again, but this time she hesitated. Something about the door seemed different. She ran her fingers over the metal, feeling a strange symbol etched into the surface. Suddenly, the door creaked open by itself, revealing a dimly lit corridor. Natasha's heart skipped a beat. She stepped forward, her eyes adjusting to the dim light. The corridor stretched out before her, lined with dusty control panels and flickering fluorescent lights. A sign overhead read, "Bunker 17K." Natasha's curiosity spiked. What was this place? She began to explore, her footsteps echoing off the walls. As she turned a corner, she stumbled upon a room filled with old computers and communication equipment. In the center, a single console beeped softly, displaying a cryptic message in Cyrillic. Natasha's fingers flew across the console's dusty keyboard, trying to decipher the cryptic message. The screen flickered, displaying lines of code that scrolled by too quickly for her to read. Suddenly, the beeping stopped and a single phrase appeared, "Aurora, Protocol 7 initiated." The room began to hum, and the fluorescent lights overhead pulsed with an otherworldly energy. Natasha felt a shiver run down her spine. She turned to leave, but the door slammed shut behind her, trapping her inside. A holographic display flickered to life before her, projecting an image of a woman with piercing blue eyes and short, curly brown hair. "Welcome, Natasha," the woman said, her voice warm and familiar, yet somehow off. "You've been chosen for Aurora's Protocol 7. Please follow the instructions." Natasha's mind reeled. "Chosen? What protocol?" The woman's image began to distort and the hologram flickered. Natasha reached out, trying to touch the image, but it vanished. The console beeped again, displaying a new message. "Proceed to level 3. Authorization code 3141. Natasha's heart pounded. What lay ahead? She entered the code and the door creaked open, revealing a stairway that descended deeper into the bunker. As she stepped down, the walls began to display cryptic symbols and diagrams. Natasha felt like she was unraveling a mystery, but the thread seemed to lead her further into the unknown. Natasha reached level 3, and the stairway opened into a vast chamber filled with rows of cryogenic pods. The air was thick with the hum of machinery and the faint scent of liquid nitrogen. Natasha's eyes widened as she approached the nearest pod. Inside, she saw a figure frozen in suspended animation. The face was familiar. It was Anastasia, a former classmate who had gone missing years ago. Natasha's mind reeled. What was Anastasia doing here? And why was she in stasis? As she examined the pod, a voice whispered in her ear, "You shouldn't be here, Natasha." She spun around, but there was no one in sight. The voice seemed to come from the shadows themselves. Suddenly, the pods began to glow and the machinery hummed louder. Anastasia's pod slid open and she stepped out, her eyes unfocused. Natasha rushed to help her, but Anastasia's gaze locked onto hers and she whispered, "Run." The chamber began to shake and alarms blared. Natasha grabbed Anastasia's hand and they sprinted toward the exit. As they ran, Anastasia's eyes cleared and she whispered, "Avrora's not what you think. It's something bigger." They burst through the door and Natasha slammed it shut behind them. Anastasia leaned against the wall, gasping for breath. "We have to get out of here, Natasha. We have to stop Avrora before it's too late." Natasha's mind whirled with questions, but she knew they had to keep moving. Together, they navigated the bunker's twisting corridors, pursued by unseen forces.